Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a squirrel. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the head. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having a hard time drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. On the bottom right side of the circle, make a small mark for the first part of the muzzle. Then connect the small mark to the circle using curved lines to finish the guide for the muzzle. The guide for the muzzle is basically an arc on its side. Squirrels have short faces, so don't make this arc too long. Now draw a sloping horizontal line across the entire head. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. On the top left side of the head, draw a small arc as a guide for the first ear. To the right, draw a smaller arc as a guide for the other ear. The shape of the two ears should be similar to a curved letter M. On the bottom left side of the head, draw a big circle as a guide for the first part of the body. Draw this circle using the 4 marks method too. First make 4 small marks to indicate the sides of the circle, and then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. Don't overlap the head as you draw the top right side of the circle. This circle should be about twice the size of the first circle. Below the big circle, make a small mark to indicate the lower half of the body. Then connect the small mark to the big circle using long curved lines to finish the guide for the lower half of the body. This long curved line should be similar to a giant letter U. On the top right side of the body, draw a sloping horizontal line as a guide for the arm. The right side of the arm should end directly below the muzzle. The left side of the arm should curve up. Under the body, draw 2 long angled lines as guides for the legs and feet. Draw the lines going down and then angle them to the right. The line on the right should be slightly smaller than the line on the left. Starting on the lower left side of the body, draw a long curved line as a guide for the tail. Draw this long wavy line up, and then at the top curve it to the left and then back down. The overall shape of this line should be similar to a big question mark. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, on top of the horizontal construction line, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Draw the eye close to the edge of the head circle. When you get the size and position of the eye right, darken the shape. Draw a couple of angled lines on the sides of the shape for the corners of the eye. Inside the shape, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for a highlight. Now shade the inside of the eye. As you shade, use a darker value in the middle of the eye for the pupil. And then shade the rest of the eye using a lighter value. Push down harder on your pencil for a dark value. And push down lightly on your pencil for a lighter value. Don't overlap the tiny highlight circle as you shade the eye. Make the sides of the eyeball darker too. Use a darker value for the corners of the eyes as well. On the tip of the muzzle, under the construction line, draw a small curved line for the nose. The nose should be similar in shape to a small letter U. Under the nose, draw a line that curves to the left for the mouth. Follow the basic path of the initial arc as you draw the line for the mouth. Use short strokes as you draw the line for the mouth for a furry texture. Under the mouth, draw a shorter line that curves to the left for the chin. Darken the guide on the top left side of the head for the first ear. Extend the bottom lines farther down inside the head. Draw a curved line inside the shape of the arc for the ear opening. To the left, draw a few more short curved lines to give the ear more structure and fur. Darken the guide on the right for the other ear that's facing the other way. Now use the initial circle and arc as guides to draw the rest of the head. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to finish the shape of the head. Use a series of short strokes as you darken the path for a furry texture. The top line should connect to the tip of the nose. To the left of the ear, draw a line that slopes to the lower left side for the back of the head. Now use the line below the head as a guide to draw the first arm. Lightly sketch the shape of the arm around the guideline. Curve the right side of the arm so that it's directly below the mouth. Make the left side of the arm wide and the right side thin. When you get the shape of the arm right, darken the lines. Use short strokes as you darken the shape for a furry texture. On the right side of the shape, draw a couple of curved lines to separate the digits. The top left side of the arm should curve up toward the head. To the right of the arm, lightly sketch a small arc for the visible portion of the other arm. Darken this shape using smaller curved lines for the other digits. On top of the digits, draw a small curved line so that the squirrel is holding a nut. Use the angled line on the bottom left side of the body as a guide to draw the first leg and foot. Lightly sketch a small rectangular shape on the bottom half of the guide for the foot. The top part of the leg is made up of a long curved line. When you get the shape right, darken the top line using short strokes for the fur. Then darken the bottom rectangular shape for the foot. On the right side of the foot, draw a couple of small curved lines for the toes. Each individual toe is made up of a small curved line that's similar in shape to the letter U. Use the line on the right side as a guide to draw the other foot the same way. Lightly sketch the shape of the foot around the guide, and when you get the shape right, darken the lines. On the right side, draw a series of short curved lines for the toes. Now use the big circle and arc as guides to draw the rest of the body. Darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Extend the lower left side farther down so that it connects to the top of the leg. Use a series of short strokes as you darken the shapes for a furry texture. Make the right side of the body wavier than the guides and don't overlap the arm. Now use the long curved line on the left side as a guide to draw the tail. Lightly sketch the big shape of the tail around the guideline. The shape of the tail should be almost as wide as the body. When you get the shape right, darken the lines using short strokes for the fur. Use slightly longer strokes for a bushier tail. The top part of the tail should be wider than the bottom. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video won't be too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines, it's okay to leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. And now shade your drawing. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. To shade lightly, push down very lightly on your pencil, and then push down harder on your pencil for darker values. As you shade, use strokes that go in the general direction of the fur. For the head, the strokes should radiate to the left from the nose. For the rest of the body, the strokes should curve down and to the left. Leave the area around the eye and the right side of the body blank. Curve the strokes on the tail so that they follow the shape of the tail. The strokes should be vertical at the base and then they should curve to the left at the top. Slowly and gradually add darker values throughout the body. As you shade, separate each stroke a little bit so that the white of the paper comes through and creates a more furry texture. Remember to use strokes that go in the general direction of the fur. If you use strokes that go in different directions, the drawing will start to look a little messy. Add darker values along the bottoms of the shapes to create shadows. Shadows will give the body more volume and help the figure look more three-dimensional. Shading can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. It's a good idea to use reference as you shade for a more accurate depiction of a squirrel. Use a very light value on the right side of the body for the white fur. Add a few rows of dots to the left of the nose for the base of the whiskers. Draw a shadow at the bottom using a medium value. This grounds the squirrel so that it doesn't appear to be floating. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the squirrel. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a comment. Also subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.